Imagine moving to a new country filled with hope just only to realize the healthcare there, it's another fucking planet. The entire thing is different. It's so expensive that you, as an immigrant, you cannot even fathom how locals are managing with it, let alone managing with it yourself. You guessed right. Yes, this is the only one country in the world, first world country, obviously, the wealthy country, which does not have its own free healthcare. Not at all. And the one that exists right now, which is like for low-income people, is being demolished right now since 2025. It wasn't even perfect in the first place, right? Right now they do it even harder and worse and more expensive. That's a total mess. That's what I experienced right after I came to this country. I was like, I gotta go. It will be cheaper for me to buy a whole ticket, back and forth, two-way ticket, on the other side of the planet to come back to Russia to heal myself, to do some, I don't know, analysis, surgeries, anything, and then come back, and it will be still cheaper, much cheaper than it is here. Is that true that in people in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, wherever former Soviet Union country you name, the healthcare there is free? Yes. I will be the first in the line to criticize that country through all my entire life. I was there, I will be there forever. But when we're talking about healthcare, I'm sorry, United States, you lost this. You lost this bad. You can get a good healthcare in Russia for money, much cheaper than regular healthcare in United States. If you don't have money in Russia every single person is broke, that is true. But even if you're completely broke in Russia and you cannot afford the good healthcare for relatively not expensive in American terms, I mean, if you're an American, you would say that is cheap. For Russians, that is expensive. So only few Russians go to private clinics and do some healthcare over there. I did. The service, the level of healthcare, it's just up top, up there. If you're broke in Russia, if you cannot pay shit, well, you don't have to. You can use shitty government-issued healthcare for every single person in Russia, including foreigners. Yes, the service will be the shittiest service you ever got in your entire life. They will be questioning you, like, what the hell are you doing here? Why did you even come? Like, get the out of here. Something like that level of treatment, right? But still, they will do their job. Poorly, not a good job, but they will take care of you if you, for instance, you broke your arm, which happened to me, by the way. Arm wrestling is not a good idea if you got no clue what are you doing. So yeah, back to those days, I was broke and I used government healthcare and they did the job. Well, this one is in particular, that was in Ukraine. If you're confused, I lived in both countries. They did their job. Did they bribe me? Did they try to ask me for some extra just on top of it, just to make some tips so they will perform their work better? Yes, they did. Did I give them money? Yes, I did. I remember back to those days, for this type of surgery, they put a titanium plate inside of my arm, 10 screws, something like $300. Something like that. That was a bribe. Yes, this is pretty common in free healthcare system in Russia and Ukraine, but it's still relatively cheap to what you can get in the United States of America. Because if you go to AR, oh Jesus, you better don't, because those bills are like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Never happened in Russia. Yeah, I don't know what do you have to do in Russia or Ukraine to get that big of a bill. So that's supposed to be like, I don't know, the heart surgery, heart replacement or something. Now, don't get me wrong. In the United States, you still can get a good treatment. The service will be good. The people will be polite to you and all that if you got insurance covered by your state. If you're a low-income person, most likely you will get that type of insurance. If not for free, then close to it. But the moment you're getting some paychecks and it's above 15 grand a year, which is like nothing, they will start to take away those benefits from you. And by the way, despite the fact this administration right now, office, the presidential office, tells you no, illegals, it doesn't matter are you documented or not, you're not allowed to get a free healthcare from the state. You are not allowed to. No, you're simply not qualified for that. There are very few people who can get it. In majority of the cases, you gotta be a green card holder at least, or a citizen to get those type of benefits. And for a foreigner to get a green card or citizenship, usually it's like tens of thousands of dollars. So it doesn't make sense those people will rush across the border from Mexico to United States for healthcare, right? Paying tens of thousands of dollars to the lawyers to get a $400 SNAP benefits from the government in the United States. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, the government, they're lying to you. I know because I'm an immigrant myself. I will show you right now some of the examples of how majority of government buildings, hospitals look like. Now, to be honest, not every single hospital from the government looks like that. But around the country, majority of those. Majority. And there are very few who look like this. Usually those are made for the picture, you know, to show to the foreigners. And usually they are placed in Moscow. And every single Russian person will tell you about Moscow. Moscow is not Russia. A whole circle of separate world. It's like all around Moscow is this third world country, completely abandoned, desolate place, especially Siberia. And there is a Moscow, which is not a first world country, but kind of second world country, you know? And I shit you not, this was the most confusing type of experience for me to come here and realize that you need a agent to buy an insurance here, because like with no agent there's too many options, and each one of those got a different packages and all that. You literally gotta hire an agent. Now imagine you don't speak English. Like when you're coming to the new country, you don't usually speak its language on a decent level. You know few of the words, right? You can say hello, goodbye, how are you, and so on. It's not only you cannot say, you cannot even understand what people says to you. So a simple phone call will turn into a nightmare for you. By the way, that's why a lot of immigrants in the United States, they never speak English good, because they travel with their family with them, and then they speak their own language in their house, and they work for their kind of people. For instance, Russians work for Russians, you know, and they stay in that Russian bubble forever, which doesn't make any sense in my opinion. Why the did you leave Russia to get to another Russia in the United States, like that Brooklyn type of shit? You know where do I live? Texas. As far away from Russian speaking people as I can. That's why I can speak at least some English. Not perfect, I know, and my thick accent pisses me off, but I mean, this is the best I can do. I'm sorry. It's like when you spoke like 29 years one language, you use different mouth motions, you know, and now you gotta reverse everything. You gotta build your whole motions of your mouth from the scratch to speak. You don't want to know that. That's a disaster. Imagine you gotta speak Russian right now. You gotta say R instead of R. You will speak R, rak, which is crawfish, rak. How When I ask Americans to spell it out like rak, they say rak. They cannot even say R. In our language, if you cannot spell sharp R, that means you got a defect. You're disabled. We got a doctors to fix that shit. Well, not a doctors, close to it, doesn't matter. And in my tomorrow's video, I will tell you why did I move from all Russian-speaking communities as far as I could. I will spoil a little bit. It's connected to propaganda and Slav mentalities, which honestly speaking, I don't enjoy at all. I hate this shit. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, guys. Have a good one.